Really get going on that. Huh? Happy Wednesday. It's lovely to see you all. I know it's been a few since we had a proper meeting. Um, Let me just start by thanking all of you for everything you did to get us through the summer. Except Becca, who decided to sit out the summer just because she's a human with her body. Um, a super cute one. So I guess it's okay. But I know it was it was a very wonky summer with different scheduling issues and with changing deadlines on papers and all of that stuff that we've been doing. So I just want to thank you all for everything you've done to um, get us through that, to roll with the changes as they came. And yeah, just I appreciate it. I know it was probably not the easiest summer that we ever had as a team, but we got through it as a team, and I really appreciate um, how many of you were willing to pitch in and work extra shifts and change your hours and, just making it happen. I I brag to other managers in the company all the time about like how I just have all the best people. And I don't like to make you guys have to prove it because I already know it. But, you know, it is nice when you guys have those moments where you step up so I can be like, you would not believe how awesome my team was this summer. And a lot of the editors are tired of hearing about it at this point, and I don't care. Um, the point is, you all rock. Thank you. But we'll get into the other stuff. I just wanted to make sure everybody knew this because I'm not sure we ever like properly announced it, but the search feature in Roxen, you can search more than just that bright spot number now. So you can search for like a slug. I know sometimes we've had issues where the slug was the wrong, like the date was wrong, but you can also search for part of the slug. So if you just drop the date part and search for it, it should still come up that way. So just know that there is more options for that now. We are working on some stuff for the next update on Roxen, which will streamline some stuff, make some things easier. Maybe at the end of next month, we'll get that. I told them that I wanted us to have it at least a few weeks before Thanksgiving so that we're not trying to learn new things and make sure there's no bugs while also trying to deal with all of those deadline changes. So I will keep you posted on that. Joe sent an email out about M&A. There are 2 contest categories we can enter for that. Use of graphics / illustration, which is essentially just, a graphic that you created. And design portfolio is the other one, where you put up to 10 pages of your best work. That work can be from any paper, but whatever the largest paper in that group is. So they divide design portfolio into weekly and into daily. So if it's like 9 Alexandria pages and 1 Fargo page, it moves it to the daily category and like puts it under Fargo. So, just be thinking about that when you pick your portfolio, because I want us to sweep both of those categories, which I absolutely think we can. So please take some time to look through the work that you have done in the past year. The exact dates were in Joe's email, and he asked that you get him all of that by the end of next week. So let Joe or I know if you have any questions about that. But we have historically done very well at that competition, and I think we can absolutely do very well again this year. And I like for you all to get recognition. So we'll get to like something more interesting than me talking in a minute, I promise. The other thing I just wanted to say is that with all the deadline changes and now Becca's back, that we again had to make a bunch of adjustments to the daily assignment. And we've already heard from a few of you that there was some stuff that created some uneven workloads, having I think it was 21 pages one day and then like 6 pages the next day, or them not stuff not coming in so that you can work your assignments in an even order or anything like that. Any issues that you're seeing with what your assignments look like, what time stuff's coming in related to each other, any of that kind of stuff, please let us know, because we know that that is a work in progress. As you all, I'm sure, can imagine, looking at that spreadsheet, it's sort of a nightmare to have to figure out all of that stuff. May the deity of your choice bless Emily for working on all of that. So please let either Emily or your team leader know if you see any issues with that, if you're experiencing problems, anything that comes up. We want to make sure that we're getting that corrected, and we know that we are going to have to make corrections on that. So I think that was everything on my list. No, wait, I did have one more. Sorry. Yes. Thank you, Michael. Sorry, I put it first on my list, and then I skipped to the other things first because I knew a couple people hadn't logged in. The other thing I just wanted to talk about is that there are a number of common themes that have come up in the meetings that your team leaders have been having with all of you. We're working on addressing all of them. There's a couple people who haven't had their meetings yet, and then we'll work on things together. But one of the big themes I just wanted to address right away, and that's just sort of confusion over some mixed messages that you've received from us about can I go InDesign? Can I not go into InDesign? Like, what the rules are there. So I just wanted to clarify, make sure that we're on the same page. The goal with Roxanne is that for inside pages, we would mostly not have to go into InDesign. So, on an A3, that would be handled entirely in Roxanne. An opinion page could be handled entirely in Roxanne. But I want all covers to be opened in InDesign. I want all of you to go into InDesign, add some creativity, whatever it is, to make the centerpieces, to make them pop, to honestly, even on the covers, even if you're just selecting the text boxes of the body copy and making sure the bottom's justified, which we don't normally do on all of the stories, but for covers, I would really like to see that. There's absolutely an expectation that you will be using InDesign multiple times every day for things, and that every cover you do, you will be opening in InDesign to tweak it, that you'll be using the basic templates to get things on the page, but that then you'll be doing something to add your own flair to them. Michael pointed this out earlier, but that the covers that we get the most compliments from editors about, the things that people are happiest about, what they like the most in terms of the products they're getting, are all pages that have been opened in InDesign and changes made to make them, like I said, to pop. And I know that we have a lot of people who have the talent to really do some very creative things. So please be doing that. As you probably picked up from the questions that you were being asked by your team leaders, we're working on trying to figure out ways to make the inside pages simpler and easier for all of you, so that you have more time to devote to covers, to that creativity, and also so that you can be getting some proofing in without feeling that you're rushed or not able to do your jobs appropriately. So we're working on that. Like I said, the team leaders and I will be going through everybody's responses from all of those meetings, and we'll have more things, but I just wanted to make sure we're on the same page in terms of that InDesign stuff. What questions do you all have about that? Okay. If you think of questions, please let me know. I apologize for the mixed messages you all got. I'm quite sure they were from me. So thank you. Whatever comes up, let me know. It's been a while since we've had a meeting, so you guys haven't got to hear me make my spiel about how I can't fix any problems I don't know about. And my whole job is to make it easier for you to do your job. So please keep me in the loop. Let me know what's going on. If you don't want your name attached to it, tell your team leader, and then they can tell me anonymously. That's all great. Michael is going to go over a few things now so that we have some demonstration portion of the meeting instead of you all just having to look at me in this. Go ahead, Michael.
So I have a couple of things. I know we were just talking about how you can go in design and jazz your pages up, but I do have a couple of things to where even if you are going to go into InDesign, it's nice to start with things already lined up and already in the right space, so you don't have to do a lot of extra stuff in InDesign. And then I have another thing about proofing too that we'll go over in just a second. I just have like 4 really quick things to go over as far as how the templates work and things that I feel that are being missed or not utilized in the exact way that we could make them a little bit easier. So one thing I just want to point out is I'm sure people know by now, but that head and hold templates, the photos will be a little bit different. The way that one will scale automatically on the hold templates and one will move as a ratio within the head templates. The thing that comes with that for the head templates is that if I make this 6 columns, after it updates, you'll notice that this main photo isn't really a natural shape. It's far too narrow. So while you're in here, we have the ability to make the main one image 6 columns. We always want this column to match whatever the width is. And you'll see that that'll bump it down. It'll make it more of a natural shape, right? Another thing that I've noticed is we're not necessarily putting the rules directly in the middle of things like this. We're kind of often just kind of going like that, where you can see that there's quite a big difference in between these two. Now, this is too much space, but I'm just trying to use it as an example. Most of the things that I often put in here are 10.36. I was just told while working on the templates that that's kind of a full baseline. So that's one of the things that I always put in there, and then I move my other ones up. I think this is a good space to have in between those. You can, if you have a little bit more room, you can make them, you know, if you need it to be 15. We haven't really talked about a arbitrary line where it's too much. So just make sure to kind of use your judgment in there. But we do want them to fall in the middle of the two things and this offset to be used rather than them just sitting really close to one or the other. So can double check that. Another thing too is I'm seeing a lot of people not kind of bump down a word or two, so these lines will be a little bit more even. I know you can make it larger or make it smaller, anything you want, but if this is kind of the size of the headline that you're looking for, you can certainly go into standard. Oh, I gotta wait for it to update now, sorry. Okay, so you can certainly go into standard, and I don't know, we'll kind of go right here. And I'll just hit a return in there. That's going to be too long. So let's go to that one. So you can kind of see that now even inside the program, they're a little bit more even. So then if you do that, you can go back to your page management and then your headlines will be there. These are just kind of small things that we can do on the page instead of having to open up an InDesign just to hit a return, right? For this one, I'm going to talk with Alicia about being able to hit that return in the main head. But for now, we just need to make it bigger or smaller, use the non-caps, anything like that to make that presentation of that look a little bit better. And then the final thing, as far as quick things to make your pages look nicer, I'm going to see if I can recreate this error really quick. Just a second. Okay, well, that'll be close enough. You'll get the point. So if we have subheads at the bottom of a column here, we don't really need to go necessarily into InDesign to fix those. We can go into Roxen and do a shift return before those, and it will create a line buffer above that. This one probably won't send it all the way to the top, but you'll kind of be able to see that it will add the space in there. So going back in here, so this was kind of what we were talking about. So I'm just waiting for my page. So if you go in here and you hit shift return, So shift, then return. That will make this line break stay where it's at. If you just hit a return, Roxanne tries to be helpful and get rid of that return for you. So if you do that, it'll probably make it just bump down a little bit more, but you can see that it will add the line break ahead of it. You can do this multiple times if you needed to, though the gap will get noticeable. So even though it kind of, you can see that now there's that gap there. If I were to do that again, it can push it to the other side. So we normally don't want to, but if you have to for an inside page, anything like that, then that's something we should at least look at and see if it works for this one. Yep. So now you can see that, yeah, there's this gap that's not great right here, which we would need to fix, but you can get some of this stuff to move over. And sometimes it looks a little bit nicer when you do it in Roxanne. So those are my couple things for quick design edits. One thing that we've been told in our meetings was that kind of all of the at here messages for proofing get to be quite a bit harder for people to find after a while or to go through the long lists and double check. So one of the things that we wanted to make sure that we have told everybody is this page status option. So if you go to this page status option, there's a bunch of different statuses like you've all seen. We can start off with incomplete. We don't, yeah, we would prefer it not to be at the bottom at all. If it breaks from, the second, if there's one line on the second and one line on the third, we should try to get it all onto the next one. Does that make sense? I don't know if she left. Well, okay, but so I can get back to Emily in just a second. So we have like this incomplete, so you can pick the certain date that you want. We also have this show deadline, so you can tell that these pages were, due a while ago. I don't know what's up with that, so let's not look at that one. September 11th. So these pages are due at 5, and you can see that they're all ready for proofing. A couple of these hasn't been started. These are class pages, but you can do incomplete or you can do ready for proofing. So if you're ever looking for, you have 5 minutes left and anything like that, you can certainly go into this page management ready for proofing. And you can double check that this show deadlines so that now these are all in deadline order. So you can pick away at some of the pages if we've fallen behind keeping up with the threads in the channel. So
we do still want you to be making Slack posts about it, though.
Yes.
This is just an additional resource.
Thank you. Yep. That's it. That's all I got.
Thank you, Michael. All right. Anybody have any questions, topics of discussion to bring up while we're all together? All right. Thank you all. Oh, yeah, go ahead. Yep. Yes, Mary.
I have just noticed a lot of times when I'm on the individual papers budgets and they're using network content stories, I go to the date that's specified and it's not there, but it's like maybe the day before, the day after. So I don't know if editors are moving those stories around like after somebody copies it from the budget line or what's going on there. But I mean, I guess it's not a big deal to have to look around, but it just is something that takes more time. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, whatever, like it should have that like in 9/11 NC, and they're supposed to be copying that part over, and that part should be correct. I know that the actual slug the date is wrong sometimes, but that little red note should always be correct.
It's not.
But it's not. Okay.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. I'll talk to Alyssa about it so that content team could work on that because, yeah, that sounds annoying. Like I said, that search feature is a little bit better now, so you should be able to at least, put that slug or part of that slug in there to find something when it's not in the date that it should be. But I will work on making sure that it is in the date that it should be because, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Mark has something in the chat too, Alicia.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I agree. That would be helpful. let me think about how best to do that. I'd really like to bring back, remember we used to have those boxes at the top of the budget where they noted each page whether it was ready or not. I very much liked those boxes, but I'm not sure for some of the bigger papers how feasible it is to do that. So yeah, I'll make a note of that and get into it, figure something out. Thank you.
Even if they were like Duluth and they did it right next to the page number, that shows up nice when they use the subhead style. I know some people don't, like Grand Forks, and it drives me insane because it's just a nice way to navigate where you see like sports is ready. It's like, oh, you can click right to that, and then the budget scrolls. It'd be nice if they utilized more of that. I don't know if it's called the Google Index or whatever it is on the left side.
Yeah. Okay. I will look into that and then talk to editors. All right. Anything else for today?
Here's my baby.
Yay!
So cute. I know, right? Yep. She's a keeper, I guess.
Yeah, I imagine she was
Great.
expensive, so you should probably keep her anyways,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, she was expensive.
You spend that much for something.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna put her to work.
Congratulations, Becca. We're all very,
Thank
very
you.
happy for you.
Yes.
Yes, I agree with Steph. Next time we expect the actual baby to be here.
Here, I
Okay.
have this one. Does this
Oh,
work?
nice.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Does this work?
All right. Next meeting, show and tell. Everybody
Okay.
bring babies and kitties,
There we go.
puppers, you know, whatever you got. Reptiles,
Right?
maybe not spiders. I don't know how everybody feels about that. I don't want to cause an HR issue, but all right. Thank you all. Like I said,
Right.
let me or your team leader know if there's anything going on. We're here for you. We want to work through this stuff. So thanks all. Get back to work.